Good afternoon. My name is Danielle Smith. By way of introduction, you should just know that I've been at iProspect actually a really long time. Long enough, in fact, that I've gone to every single client summit and have still managed to escape being on the main stage. Up until now, time catches up to all of us, but at least I got the 3:45 slot because that's the one that everybody wants. But upon reflection, I've realized that I survived New Orleans and Vegas with you all, so I figured I could survive 10 minutes talking about a client partnership that I'm extremely proud of.
I'm Liz Vance, and I don't have a really kitschy introduction because I'm not nearly as old as Danielle. But
It's not that much younger. So just a little setup. So Hollister, if you aren't familiar with the brand, they are a global teen retailer that's really focused on the SoCal lifestyle. They have over 500 stores globally, and they've been a partner of ours for over 7 years, where we've been managing both performance and brand media. So around a year and a half ago, the brand really rolled up their sleeves and put tremendous time, energy, and effort into repositioning the brand and their positioning. And what you see, reflected in orange, is really what came from that, the global mission, which ultimately became our strategy and is at the center of every brief that we have. I think the thing that I was most impressed with Hollister in going through these activities is that they've really realized it's not about just selling the next pair of jeans. We've talked a lot about it today, but it's about creating that rich, relevant experience and making sure that that's what's coming to the consumer at each and every touch point. So, in addition to the brand strategy, the positioning, we also had to take a look at the external factors. So one of those that is unique for Hollister and a couple of other brands that are out here today, Journeys, I know this will be near and dear to your heart, is the teen. So this is my daughter, so I feel like I'm the subject matter expert because I have one at home. But a couple of things that really resonated in the data that have really helped inform our planning. So one, the teen is in a constant state of partial attention, which means it is absolutely critical that we are able to message to them at the right time when they're actually paying attention to what it is that we're saying. The second thing is that this generation is the first generation that has grown up being connected their whole lives. They don't know a world without the internet. So again, going back to that expectation economy, like how does that impact immediacy and their need for content and experience? And then third and finally, the last point is that they're so social. And I get that we talk about social a lot in terms of digital, but they're also social in the physical space. As Liz and I were preparing this week, I thought a lot about Andy and tried to take off my marketer lens and just thinking, so she was a senior in high school last year, how we shopped for prom. It's really quite unique. So it was doing research online, right? She did all the research, all the different stores. Then she and her friends went to all the stores, tried on the dresses. Then they came home, and then the entire high school created an Instagram private feed where the girls would share their dresses to make sure that they didn't have that horrible moment on the red carpet where who wore it best was happening, right? So everyone had a unique dress. But then ultimately, who was paying for that dress? It was me. So it's imperative that in the case of Hollister, as we're thinking about it from a marketing perspective, that it's not just the teen, but it's also the parent that we have to make sure that we're providing confidence to. Second external factor is just the retail landscape. I won't go deep here because I think everybody in this room could get up here and speak to it eloquently. I think this quote really summed it up nicely. And in thinking about this in terms of Hollister, Hollister isn't just competing against PacSun and American Eagle. They are literally competing against Coachella, whatever festival's coming in town, whatever pop-up goat yoga class is taking place, right? Those are the types of experiences now that teens have to put their money towards. So the question is, how did we solve this? I'm gonna let you guess here. But it was M1, which truly is the most powerful asset that we have at iProspect. And I think what Sam talked about, he did a really good job. We're gonna go much more deeply into the platform during the Insights Labs tomorrow. But I think in terms of how we used it, it's really the insights that the behaviors that we got from the insights, and then how we turn that into actual media activation. And I'm really excited for Liz to actually show you how we took that through all the way into the result.
Yep, so super excited to be here. This was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and so I'm thrilled to walk you guys through how we actually did what everyone's been talking about today. So major shout out to my Hollister girls and my entire team for all of this work. It was definitely a team effort. So it really started with using M1 for the insights. Above is sort of some general takeaways. There's obviously a lot. We learned about the teen using M1 and other sources, but some things to kind of point out. They're in a constant state of partial attention. Their shopping pattern is anything but linear, as Danielle sort of pointed out earlier. They enjoy gaming. They actually enjoy spending time with friends and family, unlike some other generations. And I think when you boil it down, they really just want an immersive experience. You can't go to them with the standard retargeting ad. It's not going to work. They're smarter than that, and they won't tolerate it. So then we take those insights and really, this is where our media process changed. My team and I use this phrase a lot. Media planning really for my team is completely dead. We don't do it anymore. We do audience planning. So we take all the insights and then we build this, an audience strategy. So the audience strategy basically takes all those insights and really segments it down into very, very granular audiences, and so that we can give each audience the right message at the right time. Again, the teen's not going to be okay with receiving a promotional ad. That's more for the mom. So let's give that to mom, and let's give the teen some cool video about kids jumping into a pool with full of macaroni or something.
Yes.
Yes. Hollister's got some great content. Y'all should check it out, but lots of cool stuff like that. Ultimately, to achieve the goal that we want for that consumer, we want the teen to engage with Hollister, and we might want mom to actually purchase. So this is a very high-level view of an audience strategy, but this is where it really starts. And this is the most critical element of this process and what really takes time because it requires buy-in from all parties within your organization. So then we go to the activation side of things within M1. So the Merkle ID is really what makes M1 powerful, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar, but the MID is made up of 30 different data sources like census data, credit card data, all kinds of data, all the data. And the beauty of that is it allows us to know a consumer and to follow that consumer. So for instance, Andy used to live with Danielle, and so her physical address was with Danielle, but she's evolved, and now she's a college freshman. Danielle kicked her out, and she lives in Arkansas, and so her physical address is in Arkansas, and her behaviors have also changed. And so Andy has evolved within the platform that we have, and we're able to see that. So what makes that really beautiful is we're able to take that person, and within the highest level up there, that's called our publisher addressable marketplace, we're able to actually find Andy and know with 100% certainty that we're reaching Andy, which is amazing. Then there's the one-way match, so the Googles and the Facebooks of the world. It's more of a walled garden. We know who we're targeting, but we don't get as much information back on that person for a lot of different reasons. And then there's the cookie and device ID. We still can use it. It's still a tool that or a process that is important in a lot of instances, but it's not something that we're leveraging across the board anymore. So actually, how does it actually all come together? So this is a screenshot of the M1 platform, and what I'm showing you here is one of our audiences for Hollister. So what we did here is we uploaded a CRM audience of some of their best customers. Then we only wanted to see ages 18 to 24, and we wanted to focus specifically on those consumers that had a high propensity for gaming, just to see where exactly we should deliver that content to them. So you'll notice up on the right-hand side, that base number is the entire M1 audience. The blue number at the very top is what we drilled it down to based on all of those data inputs that we provided to build that audience within M1. So you notice the total number is 7.9 million users. It's a good thing that that number is a lot smaller because the whole point of this is to be more segmented and targeted so they can get the actual right message. So then you'll notice the publisher addressable marketplaces. I've highlighted one here because for Hollister we do a lot of music because that's where the teen is and that's what they want to engage with. So here you'll see we can actually buy 1.4, almost 1.5 million 18 to 24-year-olds who have an interest in gaming and know with 100% certainty that we're reaching those 1.5, instead of just going directly to Pandora and saying, hey, I want to do a takeover and I get all these millions of impressions for $500,000, and it's actually worthless because we don't know those people. But if we do it this way, we know those people. So then we actually publish the audience. And it's very, very simple. Unlike placing a pixel on your site, there's actually a button, and you just select the audience that you've already built in M1, you select the publisher you want it to go to, and you hit publish. It's literally that easy. My team has assured me it's literally that easy. So the challenging piece of this is building that audience strategy and getting aligned on that element. But once you have that in place, this tool is extremely powerful. Almost there. There we go. Okay, so I'm just like beyond excited to be up here talking about the success that we've seen, because it has been a journey with the Hollister team and with my team getting to this point. We've seen a lot of really interesting insights. I think the thing that I'm most excited about is the fact that we saw 3 times more offline conversions, with our M1 campaigns than we saw with our non-M1 campaigns. So not only is that huge for a retailer, any retailer, because brick and mortar is so tough right now, but it's huge for Hollister because we know that the teen prefers to shop in store. So it infers that the teens are actually going in store more after being exposed via these campaigns. So phenomenal, phenomenal stuff. I'm super proud of the team. I think what's also really special, I keep saying special, it's been a journey. Hollister is just performing above and beyond. They have really turned their brand around and are doing amazing, amazing work, all based on the consumer. And when we started to align with them on what that strategy looked like, everything has just been pointing in the right direction.
Yeah. So I think, again, we've spent quite a bit of time today talking about the power of M1. I'm really proud to be able to show the results, but I also think it's important to state that we know that the innovation doesn't stop just with what we're doing with M1. So throughout the past years, we've been working to implement and optimize. We actually saw that paid search, we were really only able to capitalize on those first-party audiences. But when we saw what was happening, when we were able to more deeply segment with the M1 audience segments within media, we knew that we were just scratching the surface. So big shout out to your account teams, because they spent an inordinate amount of time on the phone with Google saying, this is so important. If we can unlock this, this will allow us to do things that we're just not able to do within paid search today, which is the first-party audiences are great. But again, we've talked about right message, right time, right person. Layering on that additional data set really allowed us to do so much more specifically and much more powerfully. So what you have here is actually a screenshot from Google's FAQ. I got permission from Google to talk about this, by the way. And at the bottom, you can't see it probably that well, but the bottom example is actually a cut and paste from the product and service teams. And I'm just so proud of, again, continuing to champion what we're able to do within this powerful platform, and then finding other ways to unlock that potential within all the different partnerships that we're working with. So in summation, what did we learn? People first planning, it's not just a saying, it actually does work, and it does amazing things to the bottom line. This will revolutionize how we are buying and planning media for Hollister, and likely for a lot of other retail brands that we're working with. Communication and collaboration, Liz touched on this, but it wasn't us just working with the normal client team. We had to work with the Hollister CRM folks and a host of other people. It was imperative that we were all held accountable and responsible. It wasn't about just picking up the phone. We had to force face-to-face meetings and really all be on the same page. I can't stress that enough. I know it's not sexy, but at the end, we were able to all celebrate together. And then third, open to change. And I think that's obvious in terms of how we're talking about M1. It's a different way of buying media. But then what was really interesting is how we had to change as the agency in terms of levers we were using to optimize. How we viewed an impression before we were driving all of this conversion offline changed dramatically. So we had to be nimble and react to that. And I think everybody has done so beautifully. So in closing, again, we're just up here for a few minutes. I know that people will likely have questions. If you do, please feel free to see Jeremy Hull after the presentation.